All right, here we are in the semifinals of the Alpha Navigators Cup, number 18. And this is starring Aftermath Theory in the Red Infernal, facing off against GameFriend in the Blue Celestial. And I might as well give a little shout out. GameFriend is another streamer, and you can find his streams on Twitch as well. TheoRy, of course, also streaming. Um, Check him out. If you happen to be on Twitch, look for some Stormgate content. I actually like GameFriend's stream. He's got some cool gameplay, and he's just kind of a nice guy. Same with TheoRy. I think both of them are pretty chill dudes to watch, so check them out. And GameFriend here, creeping with the old laser beam Sovereign's Watch from the Arc ship. This is pretty standard opening for a Celestial player. Meanwhile, we got a farm showing up down here, and a Hexen just getting herself warmed up to start creeping. An interesting play. Okay. I've never seen leashing the slimes out this far before. I'm not super sure what that's about. But it might mean that when the Fellhogs spawn here, they get a little better access to the slimes. That might be it. Not super sure here. We got a split brute, and we got some shroud skin coming on those fiends, and now we got the health camp captured, and a couple fiends just soaking up in those juices for half a second so that they can heal up. Interesting move. We got these fiends running across the map. I think that's because we didn't have a good scout. And the other fiends here being used to just help creep with this old brute. And this fiend finally getting in the old base and seeing, okay, nothing much going on up there, but it did get to see the Guardian Nexus just finishing. Guardian Nexus this quick is probably, yeah, roll out though. So we got, this is the ludicrous build, and that means there's going to be some Kree on the map rolling out pretty soon here. Fiend here. We got a fiend over here hiding, just saying, please don't find me, Mr. Argent. I do not want to die today. And the Argent's like, okay, I'm not going to look in any corners. See down here? Ah. Nope. I don't see a fiend. No fiend here. Yep. Nope. Definitely not a fiend. Did you see a fiend? No, I didn't see any fiends. I swear I searched every piece of the map down here. Wait, let me go do another circuit. I got this. Going around. Yeah, no fiends. Ain't no fiend here. It's definitely not in my base. I'm going to tell the boss there's no fiends in the base whatsoever. Yep, definitely no fiends. Peace. Alright. Okay, and that was my little role play there. This is the early game, and we've cast a few games tonight, so I'm maybe getting a little extra loopy. Alright, creeping the vision camp. Nice DPS out those fiends, and good tanking out of the brute to clear out the vision camp. And back home, like, what do we got? We got brute, we got vault, and we have brute upgrades. I like this build. Honestly, another vault going down. I really like this build. I want to make it work, but I'm unable to do it. But it looks like TheoRy has an idea. But now we're going to get those Kree who rolled out, falling on top of the Hexen, but there's just too many fiends here. Kree are good against fiends, but there's just, like I said, too many. Nice rollout damage, clearing up those fiends. That's how you do it. Nice micro. Two of those Kree are really low. Same with one of those Argents. One of the Kree going down. We have the Hexen trying to get out of there and doing the hokey pokey just fast enough to get out of there. Still brute, because that's what we see we have TheoRy committing to. And the Kree and the Argent now feeling pretty good to move out on the map and start creeping some camps. Of course, energy camps really useful if you're a Celestial player, so they're hustled over here to get this one. And what happened there? Oh, that Kree rolled all the way to the high ground to get get the healing cabbage up there. We got a fiend hiding there. This fiend's now back here. The fiend healed up and said, I'm good to go. I'm going to guard this base now. And now there's a little bit of pressure. The Kree trying to roll in on TheoRy. But unsure if they really want to commit. Few of them heading down towards the health camp, but now that it looks like they're getting a little bit caught out of position. A couple of them might get cut off here, but the slow brute's unable to get a good surround on them. Just getting a good couple meat cleaver chops in there. Big old ball of brutes. Meanwhile, the speedier Kree heading back up to this other energy camp, which is pretty good for a second one. These big old slimes, they're not super hard to creep. They definitely do an okay DPS. But they also give you therium when you kill them, which can be an added bonus. And of course, looks like this Morph Core finally found the Fiend and said, hey, remember that Argent who was sent to scout here? You should fire that Argent. This Argent here is like, not me. I'm a good Argent. Creeping the Luminite camp here. So it's really kind of a map control-y kind of play here from GameFriend, as once you got these Kree, it's able to go out and steal some of these camps. The slower brutes just unable to keep up, although they're a big enough force that they're not afraid to be on the map. They're just coming out with these fiends trying to recapture some camps that had been captured by the Kree, and then reclaiming any of the camps that have not yet been taken. This Therium camp being taken while TheoRy is taking out the Luminite camp. Still no other tech added but brutes here. There we go. There's our mag. We got our first Maggie out. Big stompy boy. And fiends now. Fiends are able to more quickly move around. And this is a little scout fiend. So they can go capture some camps, but also get in the back here. See what's going on. See if there's, say, for instance, therium mining going on here. Couple more fiends rushing out. Again, I like this play. Despite GameFriend having the ability to get out on the map and take some of these camps, the fiends can be annoying by just running around and taking them back. Looks like these ones are going to look for collection arrays as well. And meanwhile, this mag just came in the bag. That's what the mag was there for, to knock down some trees. And two more mags show up. And mags actually are really quite good against this Kree, mainly because Kree are melee units, and if they want to do any damage, they got to get up and close and personal with those mags, making them nice and vulnerable to the trample and the stomps. The stomps, of course, being more accurately called trample, but we like to call things by their silly names, like Stompy Boys and Sword Boys and so on. And now this big old force moving in here. I like that there's Shadow Flyers. Shadow Flyers are the only anti-air being added here. There are no Gaunts in this army. Those Shadow Flyers choosing not to impact on the collection array, knowing of course that there are size on the map and those are more valuable targets. Running all the way home. It looks like they might be heading over to the health camp. It looks like it's that time of the game again where the camps respawn and it's time to go out and reclaim them. Ooh, here we go. A bunch of extra production going down. Even more vaults. You like brutes? I like brutes. I want even more brutes. Brutes, brutes, brutes. Brutes, 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 and a couple magmadons. Sounds like a great army to me. And moving back to, it looks like they gave up on the health camp and deciding maybe the vision camp is more important. This slow moving army, it's a little bit harder to get around the map, and if you're out of position when an attack comes, that can be annoying. Of course, the health camp's right in his natural, so that can't be the main reason. I think another good reason here is that if you are going to move your army around the map, it's a good idea to have the vision camp, especially with cross-spawn like this. These units taking over the Luminite camp. 2 Animancers being added. That's a nice add. It's going to be particularly good against this slow force out of Theory because with the slow on the Dark Prophecies, it's pretty hard to get away from them if you're a slow moving unit, and that means you're going to take extra damage and might just melt your life away. Speed camp reclaimed. These Kree are getting a little split up from each other, and there are Spriggans now. That was just a flyby, though. Spriggans being added back into the main army, it looks like. Well, GameFriend is getting a nice composition up here, I think. He's a little bit behind. We can see that the supply is telling that story. The army from Theory just seems a little bit bigger, even while sending some run-by units around. I think Theory is really thinking, where are the extra bases here? These Spriggans getting over here and able to do some harass and take out the array that was here, but being chased away. Like few of them being taken out. We now have imps moving over here, presumably for some secret bases. And the army's now facing off a little bit in the middle of the map. And one thing that Theory's going to have an issue with are these scythes. Yes, he has shadow flyers. There we go. Some gaunts are being added. I'm glad to see that because the shadow flyers are really kind of unreliable. If you get some good hits on, they can clear that whole scythe ball. But if there's some good micro, you're going to be in trouble. Now these look like harassed shadow flyers going for prisms and morph cores. A couple of them impacting on the sides there. You don't really want to trickle your shadow flyers in like that. One going down, or one scythe going down, I should say. But these scythes are actually being kind of pulled out of position to deal with just these lone fiends. And Theory's kind of moved out. And moved out with a bunch of megs. Wow. That's a whole bunch of megs. And it looks like weavers as well. Shadow flyers as well to deal with the scythes. This could be a very dangerous army if GameFriend runs into it. GameFriend's probably going to want to add more to his composition to deal with it. These fiends, though, being kind of annoying for GameFriend and having to use his size to come back, not do any harass, leave his army. And wow, we got Spriggans in the main as well. They took out this collection array. Now they're focusing down these Legion halls. Another Legion Hall going down. Some Sabers coming out. Sabers are a good add to help deal with the rest of Theory's army. But it looks like Theory losing all of his Spriggans there. Probably a choice. I imagine he would have microed those away otherwise. Unless he was engaged with a lot of micro elsewise. He might just be freeing up some supply a little bit. He is very close to capped. And of course, all these fiends also count as supply. But now we have GameFriend's army moving to the center of the map where we actually have a lot of static D set up for Theory. And Theory's army showing up. Some Weavers doing some lashes. This army from GameFriend is not really big. Now there are a couple Dark Prophecies going down. Those can really make a change. Misclick Dark Prophecy, it looks like in the back there. But there are megs everywhere, and that is a GG from GameFriend. Alright, here we are in Game 2. And this is again going to be starring Theory in the Red Infernal. And GameFriend in the Blue Celestial. Always looking for that arc ship when I'm trying to introduce. I'm like, where is the arc ship? Staring at a collection array is kind of boring. It's like, what is that? But yeah, GameFriend looking for a win in this game to put himself back in this series. Otherwise, if Theory manages a win, he will be going on to the finals. And TheoRy starting out right early with an imp doing the lumberjack duties and chopping down some trees. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. And I'm an imp and I hope I survive the day. Let's see where this imp is going. More lumberjacking? I've seen this out of TheoRy before. This is just... Okay. Well, he's taking a rest. Nope. Lumberjacking. Imp's journey as he moves across Titan's Causeway, opening up attack pathways. But why aren't you taking that middle tree there, Imp? Come on, do your job. Do your job. Interesting. What's going on here? This... Okay. Oh, it looks like the... Oh, but the Skull of Shetta can see you. How much? 30? I don't know. If you went back to there, you would get surged and you would be healed. But I think he's just afraid of the skulls. And manages to keep his prism alive. So some pretty aggressive harass out of TheoRy with the Hexen off the start. Again, you probably shouldn't ever lose a prism to that. And GameFriend did not. But yeah, bringing his prism back, or now with the surge, I think even the array gets healed extra. Finally, the Hexen decides to teleport away, and that prism gets to return to mining. Really, actually, that was probably worth a lot for TheoRy, because while it may have slowed down his own creeping, I imagine not too much, it definitely delayed the mining for that prism. Looks like not delaying mining that much, or creeping that much, because that brute got started creeping early. And I think we must have double vault. No, we actually only have single vault, so that means this game actually is just kind of in a... It's been a little bit slower. That original harass did slow down both of these players, and this creeping is actually happening later on than it should be, given that the Hexen spent so much time there. Now, we got Guardian Nexus rollout again. Looks like it's going to be another Kree-focused build. But we have brutes coming across the map, but what are they doing? Oh, they're going to this collection array. At least these fiends are. And we got a Sovereign's Watch, which is going to zot down those nice little sim city of a power bank to block off the what will become a blast node or strike node. And I think this is a good choice. Instead of sending those brutes up there, the Sovereign's Watch was already called. Why don't we creep this camp? We also see 3 brutes that are actually pretty low. And I don't know if I'd want to run up here with my low brutes. Well, you can split them all. And okay, one on the node. I like it. Another Sovereign's Watch being called. And that might, you know, it feels kind of bad to try and do some harass and then just have a Sovereign's Watch be cast. But to be honest, that takes power. And that power means that that's power that can't be used somewhere else. Maybe that means there's going to need to be another power bank that gets put down. The Celestial player doesn't necessarily want to use those Sovereign's Watches. And of course, it also burns a charge. So that means if you're sort of persistent with your harass, you might be able to get them to a point where they just have no charges. These Korean Argents moving across the map, not doing any creeping, it looks like. Are they going to creep the vision camp? Moving straight to the help camp. I like this. If you are going to do a push like this, I might have had 1 unit on there, although the Argents can take the help camp. You want to, 1, get there as fast as possible, and 2, give them as little indication that this push is going to happen. If you're taking camps as you go across the map, you're basically telegraphing to your opponent, here I come. So this was a little bit more surprise factor than it could have been because of that. This is really doing some damage. We see the brutes being cleaned up, and then now we see that camp being taken. I like this. Some of those units there that are maybe a little lower trying to get some healing, while the other Kree moving out trying to get some more kills on the imps. A Shroudstone manifestation coming down, summoning that super Shroudstone, and chasing the Kree back. And then beautiful Sim City. We got farm, or Shroudstone, Shroudstone, wheat farm, meat farm. A nice little wall off so that the Kree can't just get on top of those imps again, keeping them safe. And then we got a couple brutes here trying to guard their way in the back, and there's another Shroudstone in the back, probably quite strategically placed by TheoRy as he dropped it down. We've got brutes trying to clean up this one Kree. We got Kree everywhere, but they're not really sure where they're attacking just yet. The mag is out, and that mag is dangerous, especially if he activates his trample ability. But lots of kind of pressure here, splitting the Kree, which are melee units, around. So they're not just running around behind one another trying to zone in on some kind of focus fire. Pretty good micro, actually. And then heading all the weak units back to the healing camp. After doing that, managing to get a little bit of damage down on the Shroud Stone. And again, for Infernals, damage on your buildings is permanent. You're not going to heal that back up again. Cleaning the Vision Camp. Taking a moment to just pause the harass. And I'm not sure that's the best idea. Unless he's trying to lure TheoRy into a surround here. Which may... Ooh, wow. I like that. That was a nice move. I'm not quite getting what maybe the full surround that he wanted, but I like that. Luring units in so that he could get the surround, and then TheoRy seeing that at the last minute and realizing, I better run my units out. I'm not getting free kills here. I'm going to get killed here. Okay, so now this big ball of Kree maybe doing some of the damage needed, which is forcing TheoRy to build some of that static D and spend resources on buildings and city units. But TheoRy does have a pretty good city built up now. That's 3, 4, 5 vaults with 6 vaults with 2 Twilight Spires, 3 Twilight Spires. We also have the Shadow Cleft down. Interesting positioning, kind of zoning those imps off a little bit. What are you indicating for us over here? That's nothing. That was a spam click. Okay, so we have sides being added as well. And there's some Spriggans. Trying to see if there were any other Spriggans on the map. Now, GameFriend's done a pretty good job of taking bases. Base, double base, getting some blast nodes up. So maybe a little bit of that early contain that we saw there was actually doing a pretty good job of forcing TheoRy to stay in his base and not maybe be out creeping, getting additional income, and was at the same time GameFriend was able to expand behind that. Grabbing the speed camp now, maybe not noticing. I wonder if the vision of those sides cannot yet see that base. What these units do see that base. There is a Wraith Stone up there, and they decide right away, yeah, no. Yeah, no. But this is a base. Let's go attack this one then. So they take that one now. It's canceled. Dead imp. TheoRy's forces are trying just to be in a defensive position where they can zone units back if they try and push in. Spriggan's moving across the map. We got a bunch of fiends forcing a lift on this collection array, and now these Spriggans are going to come in. What are they going to find? Strike mode. But they're folks firing on the collection array and just getting out of there. There's a Guardian Nexus going down, although it's cancelled. You might be like, what's going on with that? A Guardian Nexus actually provides additional armored or nearby buildings. So if it can warp in, it can protect your buildings. It's probably why we see this positioning of the Guardian Nexus for GameFriend. Now this is interesting. We had harass on one side of the map. Well, we got an attack going on over here. Well, we also have fiends trying to attack some strike nodes over here. But the sides and the Kree force are enough to push that army back. There are 2 mags there, and then a summon Shroud Stone, certainly. These fiends, well, they did some damage, but they got chased back up there. And now there's a blast node down here. And it looks like the another Spriggan harass here, able to take out another collection array. And now we see the army of GameFriend coming home to deal with this. Of course, I was going to say only the sides are really good against this, but there's Cabals added to the mix now. And the Cabals use their power to lower the Spriggan down to the ground. And then the Krees are able to pounce on top of it and deal damage. So TheoRy's army is the one that's looking a little bit underdeveloped now, while his composition again is looking pretty good. Maybe you want to add some gaunts. He just doesn't have enough of it. And now we're seeing that high ground position that we saw in some earlier games. And wow, okay, the Spriggans and the Shadow Flyers managed to get on the high ground, but some really nice Dark Prophecies down there to zone them back. Now the Scythes are coming down to get on top of this Shroud Stone. They've got their shields up, and there's really nothing down there that can do any harm. There's this one Kree that's just like, try me. Try me. And the mags are like, oh, right, yeah, that's my job. You are something I can hit. Let me chomp you down. But then they try to push up here, a Dark Prophecy going down on the trees. Killing a bunch of trees, also killing a couple Kree. You do get some friendly fire on those Dark Prophecies, which is one of the drawbacks for them that actually I think is part of their balance. Other features seem asymmetric to things like Miasma, but Miasma does not hit your own units. A few more Kree, unfortunately, getting taken out in friendly fire. And these Sabers on the high ground, using that advantage to, well, that Shrine is at like 2 hit points, and I think TheoRy just keeps pushing up against this to try and save it. But there, it finally goes down. Now we got long distance mining out of TheoRy. Well, actually, these imps aren't sure what they're going to do. They were long distance mining, and now where are they going? Up the hill, maybe. But this force from GameFriend, trying to get a nice engage here, actually. It's not really a surround, but they're getting these fleeing units from the side. Plus a Dark Prophecy going down to zone that Brute and a few other units as it was trying to get up the ramp through that chokehold. Dark Prophecies are really good, but they're really even better on Titan's Causeway because of all the choke points. Now the Sabers are going to help these units push up into the static D. Sabers focusing down some of these units. You hear that sound. That's the sound of the Wraith Stone doing damage to these sides, these shielded sides. Now that Wraith Stone does area of effect damage. We have a few Kree over here basically just forcing the units back. A couple Dark Prophecies. Wow. So many units just trying to force their way through the Dark Prophecies. And what happens when you do that is you just melt under Dark Prophecy. The Mags are the only units that really have the hit points to be able to do that. And they make it their way through. But unfortunately just getting melted by Argent and Saber Blast. There are a few Hellborn who are now walking back through a Dark Prophecy pretty low. They are a little tanky themselves, but now really quite low. Managing to get a few more shots off. Surviving long enough to get those shots. These Thighs chasing down the Dragon, although I think they should just focus the Hellborn. That's what I see here. That Dragon, of course, fighting back, killing a couple of the Scythes, spawning some Fiends, but the Scythes now saying, buzz off, buddy. Get back in your base. And this push could maybe end things. We got enough Sabers, and that's a GG from TheoRy. All right, welcome to Game 3, where we have TheoRy in the Red Infernal, facing off once again against GameFriend in the Blue Celestial. And GameFriend going down to this base down here. Unbeknownst to him, of course, that this is the direction of his opponent. Meanwhile, we have a Hexen, and what's this? 3 Impy Imps? And we have a Skull moving this way. Ooh, the Skull not getting far enough to actually get a scout in to see if they're in the right direction. But this Hexen, of course, luckily actually going in the right direction. Now, where are you going, Impy Imps? They're going diagonally. And the Hexen's in... Well, the Hexen must have seen that, right? Come on, Hexen, you saw it. Yeah, the Imps have turned around. The Skull's coming back. And the Hexen is on top of the Prism now. Meanwhile, we got Sarvin's Watch going down to do some creeping over here. GameFriend might be unaware about what's about to happen. That Skull managed to get all the way back and hit that Prism. I didn't think it would have enough time in its lifespan to do that. And now we have Imp and Imp. Hello, I'm an Imp, and I'm turning into a meat farm, and I am turning into a Shroudstone. Meanwhile, I am also an Imp, and I am turning into a Shroudstone as well. So if you plan to mine from these bases, you have about 30 seconds or so before that's going to be disrupted. Meanwhile, we have... ooh, another... Wow, this is a heavy commit. We have more Fiends coming here. We got a Sovereign's Watch going down. Unfortunately, Sovereign's Watches do not hit buildings. We have a single Argent out, and this Argent's hoping to DPS down this Shroudstone. This one's going to be up for no problem. There's already a meat farm out, and there's a Fell Hog. And we now have another Shroudstone up. This Argent... Oh, 2 Argents out. They'll be able to out DPS this Shroudstone, and they actually kill... Oh, no! That was a great cancel and rebuild by TheoRy. And did he get it again? Yes. Great. That's some great tower, offensive towering, cannon rushing, or Shroudstone rushing, if you will. If you're ever in a Shroudstone rush and they're focusing it down, just cancel and rebuild. You lose a little bit of resources, but you also get kind of an HP boost out of it. Because you will, if your Shroudstone actually arrives, it will have more hit points if you quit and rebuild it. Otherwise, when it arrives, it will have whatever hit points it was at when it finishes building. Well, these Shroudstones have done mostly their job. Unfortunately for GameFriend, even though he's cleaned up some of the units, these Shroudstones are still firing off. And yeah, this one's done. I don't know if I don't know if either of those collection arrays escaped. I don't think so. Often you'll see a collection array lift up. Yeah, that's just a straight GG out of GameFriend.